So if you're on the IT provider mailing list, you know that tomorrow at 5 a.m., I'm heading out to New Orleans for some team building and to soak in some fresh ideas. Because my management team, who is in 4 different states and 3 different time zones, it takes a little while to get us together, and we typically only physically get together once or twice a year. So on Monday, we're all heading down to New Orleans, and we're going to get everybody settled in. On Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to go to the Gazelle Summit. Our coach, Doug Diamond, is going to meet us there. And then on Thursday, we're going to have an all-day on-site meeting for the PICS team, and Doug will be there to facilitate that. So that'll be interesting. The summit, or as it's more formally known as the Scaling Up Summit, is tailored to business owners that are interested in growing their companies. Over the course of the 2 days of the summit, we're going to be together as a team, learning from some award-winning authors, soaking up some techniques and methods for building better business, better leadership, more strategy, marketing, sales, operations, and finance. So we'll be in a room with a bunch of mid-market firms. And the nice thing about this summit is they represent a variety of industries. They're all pretty much $5 to $500 million in size. They all are using the Gazelle's methodology, so they all use a one-page plan. They all are following the 4 disciplines of scaling up. And it's a great time for interactive learning, networking, and some idea generation. So this will be my second Gazelle Summit, and I'm really looking forward to it because this time my whole team is going to be with me. If you have the budget, I encourage you to really attend some events that are outside of the IT industry. It gives you a fresh look on your business and on our industry, and maybe you can pick up something that you wouldn't have picked up at an IT conference. So after the 2 days of summit, then on Thursday, we rented a private conference room at the Hyatt we're staying at, and the 8 of us are going to get our heads down into what is called a visioning exercise. So what's that? That's what I want to talk to you about today. Visioning, why you'd want to do it, and how you can do it in your company.
Welcome to the IT Provider Network. Are you a managed service entrepreneur wanting to take your business to the next level? Do you excel in IT, but feel your business management could be better? Join Terry Rossi, where every episode he shares the skills, tips, and tricks that helped him to build a successful worldwide business.
At the first Gazelle Summit I went to in 2016, I met a gentleman named Arnie Weinswig, and he spoke on leadership, and I ended up purchasing all his books when he was done. Arnie is one of the co-founders of the Zingerman community of businesses. There are some food-centric businesses in the Ann Arbor, Michigan area, and basically they started as a 1,300 square foot deli in 1982. They're now a $60 million business, and the deli is still kind of at the heart of everything. So if you want to learn about Zingerman's, and I really encourage you to do that, check out their About page at www.zingermans.com. They're really an inspiring company. The Zingerman's community of businesses now employs over 600 people, and they have over 10 food-related businesses, all centered right in the Ann Arbor, Michigan area, and all with a concentration on good quality, good culture, good people. So it's really a model to follow. You don't grow a deli into a $60 million business without doing some sort of visioning. So what is visioning? I mean, visioning is kind of like what Walt Disney used to call Imagineering. Or a better example, an everyday example, it's what every young child does. They daydream. They never think about what's not possible. They only think about what is possible. I have a little grandson, Liam. He's 4 years old. And his version of visioning is building a massive Lego city and waging battles between the Batman and Joker. He doesn't question how Batman has superpowers. He just assumes that he has them and uses them when he wages these battles. So visioning works kind of the same way. It's looking into the future and describing what success looks like at some point in the future. It's not the how-to to do it. It's not a strategy document. It's the motivation. It's the direction. It's what success looks like and feels like at some given point. The important thing is you can't be negative about it. You need to be positive. You need to be thinking about all the positive things that could happen in the future and where you want to take your company. So Ari describes the successful vision as one that's inspiring. So everyone that's involved in implementing that vision needs to be inspired by the vision document. It needs to be strategically sound. That is, we have to have a decent shot in making it happen. It can't be pie in the sky. It's got to be, realistic. It has to be documented. You need to write your vision down. You've always heard this. If you don't write down your goal, it won't come true. You need to write things down. Same is true with a vision document. You need to write it down to make it work. And lastly, it needs to be communicated. So not only do you need to write it down, but you need to actually share it with the people you work with your team, with your company. So the visioning document is the why, not the how. But I'm going to tell you the how of creating your visioning document. And it's basically 8 steps. The first step is picking the topic you're going to vision on. So you can vision on a single event, a procedure, a department, your whole company, whatever you want to. You can use visioning for just about anything. You can even use it in your personal life. But it's important to start with a clear idea of what you're going to be working on. So next week, the PICS team is looking out to the year 2022, and we're visioning on the whole company. So if you start using visioning in your company, I would suggest you start at the whole company. But after you start to get the process down, you can look at a division, you can look at a department, you can look at a project, or even something smaller like a one-time event. The process is the same. You want to see what success looks like before you actually try to execute it. Think about it. If your wife said to you, I shouldn't say that. Think about it if your wife or husband or partner said to you, hey, get packed, we're going on vacation. Wouldn't you want to know where you are going? Of course you would. So this is what the vision document is. It's where we're going as a company. So for most MSPs, visioning should probably start at the organization or the company level. The second step is pick the time frame. Now, as I said, PICS is going to look out at 2022. And that's a good 3 to 5 year time frame. As I discussed a little bit in step 1, after you pick your topic, you need to choose the period of time and where you want to describe success. There's no right or wrong answer for the time frame, but according to Ari, visioning works best if you go far enough out to get behind your present day problems, but not so far out that you have no sense of how you'll actually get there. So 3 to 5 years seems to be a reasonable time frame for that. You may have some projects or some visioning exercises, though, that only occur in 2 years, and maybe some out as far as 10 years. For our purposes, next week, we're looking at 2022. The third step in the visioning process is actually before you start documenting it, you need to get your head on right. Ari recommends you take 10 minutes and speed write about your company's successes. Remember the times you've saved a customer, the times you've been proud of your successes, or the successes of one of your employees. Write down as much good stuff as you can think of in 10 minutes. If you're just starting out, you don't have a lot of success stories yet, then write down 10 minutes worth of things you're proud of in your own life. The idea here is just to get your mindset right, feeling positive. You're getting your head out of the way of the day-to-day problems, and you're thinking about the good stuff that you can do, you have done, you will do in your company. So step 4 is actually writing the first draft of your vision. And as I mentioned, writing down your vision is really important. So before you start writing, you might want to look at these technical tips. If you do this stuff, it will actually work much better. So the first one, put something wild out there on the paper. Get past the 39 reasons why what you're writing down won't work. Just let it go. Pour it out of your brain. Write down what you're thinking, not what you think people want to see or even what they want to hear. Get out of your own head and just let it go. Write as if your vision has already happened. So we now have, our business is now, we've accomplished. Think in that terms. Think like you're in that 2022 timeframe or whatever timeframe you choose. Keep writing for 15 to 30 minutes. So regardless of how silly it sounds or it looks on the paper, just keep writing. Try not to lift your pen off the paper. And if the thought of actually writing with a pen is so very foreign to you, then set a timer on your phone and just start typing. And lastly, make sure you build in your personal passions into what you write. Don't write a vision that you aren't part of. You need to write down what you'll be doing at that point in the future, where you'll be in the company, what you will be doing. So think about that. So that's step 4, writing your first draft. Step 5 is to review and redraft it. So what I recommend and what I did when I did my visioning document was I put it away for at least a day. And then I took it back out and started to read it. You want to read it over carefully, but you really don't want to erase anything at that time. at this time. You want to read it over carefully, but you really don't want to erase anything at this time. You'll have plenty of opportunities to edit the content and the language, but as you read through it again, keep Ari's rules for a successful vision in the back of your brain. Does it sound inspiring? If I were reading it out loud to my staff, would they be behind it? Do I get excited when I'm reading it? Am I excited about my own vision of the future? Also look for vague statements in your document. Things like we have more clients than ever or profit is at an all-time high. Instead of those type of statements, use some real numbers. Put some real meaning into it. Stuff that you'll be able to articulate to your staff. Something like we now have over 100 clients on our managed service plan, or our MRR is 40% of our business and 50% of that revenue is on 36-month contracts. Be discreet. Write some key facts down. Think about critical numbers that define success looking forward to that period of time you're talking about. That's step 5. Step 6 is revise it a little bit more if you want. And I say just a little bit more because this is where a lot of vision documents stop. They never get past this draft stage. People get stuck here. They think it needs to be perfect. They're afraid to move forward, but at some point you just need to move forward and share your vision with your team. And that's actually step 7. Get your document out to your management team, people you trust, within your industry or not, just people that could help and share some knowledge on what you're trying to do. So in step 7, this is where you finally, and usually a little timidly, share your vision. Share with people you trust, people that can offer you opinions. Try to remember not to get defensive. Just listen attentively and take a lot of notes. When it comes time to turn your vision into a strategy, these suggestions or notes that you're receiving from the outside might be really valuable. So for our visioning project that we're doing this coming week, our team each wrote an independent vision document. So we all handed them in to our coach, who then merged them all together and stripped out all the author information. So before we meet next Thursday, we'll all have a chance to read everyone's vision document and mark up the parts of each other's documents that really look like they're going to be successful for our company. Now, I haven't really talked about the mechanics of the visioning document, but they can certainly be fairly lengthy. They're not a 1 or 2 sentence statement. Mine, I think, is 5 or 6 pages. So it's common to flesh out a lot of details, but they're not tactical. They're not strategic details. They're just a vision. So it should be pretty interesting for us. We've met weekly for the last 2 years, and some of us have worked together for over 20 years. But we're all going to have different approaches. We're all going to have different biases on how the future should look. I'm really looking forward to reading the different visions and seeing where there's alignment and where there's diversion or different viewpoints. I think it is going to be really neat. So step 8 is share the vision with your peeps. And this is the last step in the process of visioning. And this is where you're basically telling your company about the vision that you've drafted with your management team, or if you're a solo guy by yourself. Now, keep in mind, when you share your vision with your team, there's going to be a lot of how-to questions. People are going to want to know how you're going to accomplish your vision. And there's a good chance that you're going to have to say, I don't know, and that's totally okay. This is the why you're going to do something, not the how. The how is to figure out later. And you might also have some haters. Don't let them get you down. People tend to want to be negative sometimes when they're looking in the future. You just have to get past that. You want to stay positive. You want to look forward to the brighter future your company's going to have. So don't let them guys bring you down. If this were easy, everyone would be an entrepreneur. This isn't easy, but you got this. I mean, you can make this happen. So try it in your company and let me know how you make out. In an upcoming episode of the IT Provider Network, we'll go through turning your vision into the strategy you need to accomplish it. And if you're on our mailing list, if you're on the IT Provider Network mailing list, I'll share with you our 2022 vision after we complete it in the next couple weeks. So sign up for the mailing list at www.itprovidernetwork.com/visioning. And if you signed up before I get the document completed, I'll send you a copy in your inbox. This will be a one-time offer. So if you've been thinking about signing up and you haven't done it yet, do it, because if you wait till after we're done the document, I'm not going to send it out again. So thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate your feedback and comments. What I want to start doing is build up a community, and I'm thinking about doing it on Facebook because I really want to know what you're struggling with, what you need help with. And right now, it's kind of a one-way street. I'm talking to you, and you're not really talking to me. I think there's a wealth of opportunity for us to all learn from each other. And I think Facebook's a good place to do it because they provide you with a lot of tools, easy to check. Nobody wants to admit they're on Facebook, but yet they have 1 billion, 2 billion customers. So someone's on it. I'll get that set up in the near future, and we can all convene over there and talk about what we should talk about on this podcast. So thanks again for tuning in. Have a great day.
Thank you for joining us, and we hope you've been inspired. Check us out on social media via @ITProviderNet and visit us at www.itprovidernetwork.com for past episodes, show notes, videos, and more. And we hope you'll join Terry next time on the IT Provider Network.